One more step. The wind at the summit was different. They said it whistled like a warning, carried ice in its breath, and stripped away every ounce of warmth. But right now, Ayesha couldn't even think about the summit. She was still far below it, staring at the narrow ridge ahead, her knees shaking, not from cold, but from exhaustion. Her boots were heavy with snow. Each step felt like dragging lead through the mountain. The air was thin, stealing her breath before she could even fill her lungs. Her fingers throbbed inside thick gloves, and her back ached from the weight of her pack. She stopped, bent over, closed her eyes. She had trained for 2 years for this climb. Woken up before dawn for morning runs, lifted weights until her arms burned, memorized survival technique. But no training prepared her for the voice in her head right now, the one telling her it was okay to stop. "You've done enough," it whispered. "No one will blame you if you turn back." She looked over her shoulder. Below her, the slope stretched endlessly into a white blur, and beyond it, the distant base camp looked like a speck. Above her, the ridge curved into the clouds, hiding whatever came next. Her guide, Karim, noticed her slowing down. He doubled back, planting his ice axe into the snow beside her. "You all right?" he asked, his breath visible in the frigid air. "I don't think I can do it," Ayesha admitted. Her voice cracked, not from cold, but from the weight of defeat. Karim studied her for a long moment, then said something that lodged itself into her bones. "You don't have to finish the climb today. You just have to take one more step." It sounded too simple, too small, but maybe that was the point. She took a shaky breath. One step, just one. She lifted her boot and planted it forward. Snow crunched beneath her weight. The world didn't change. She still ached. She was still cold. But she was one step closer. "One more," Karim said. So she took another. And another. She stopped thinking about the summit. She stopped thinking about how many hours were left, how steep the slope was, or how heavy her pack felt. She only thought about one step. Then another. Minutes turned into an hour. The ridge narrowed, forcing her to focus on where her feet landed. Each time she wanted to collapse, Karim's voice echoed, "One more step." Her mind stopped screaming about quitting. Instead, it fell into rhythm with her breath and her boot. That, breathe, that, breathe. The wind grew fiercer, slapping her cheeks with icy hands, but now she wasn't frozen in doubt, she was moving through it. Somewhere deep inside, a quiet strength had woken up. They reached a small plateau. Karim pointed at the clouds ahead. "The summit is just beyond that ridge," he said. She blinked. "Already? You've been climbing for hours," he smiled. "You didn't even notice." For the first time, she dared to look back. The base camp was gone from sight, hidden far below. She had climbed higher than she had ever been in her life. The last stretch was the hardest. The air was razor-thin now, each breath a battle. The slope tilted sharply, forcing her to dig her boots deep for every foothold. Snow swirled around her like ghosts. Halfway up, her legs screamed in protest again. Her body wanted to stop. Her lungs burned. "One more step," she whispered to herself. And she took it. Then another. And another. Until, suddenly, the ground leveled beneath her boots. The wind roared louder than ever, but the clouds parted just enough for her to see the world stretched endlessly in every direction, mountains layered like ocean waves, valleys etched in shadow, sunlight breaking across the horizon in a gold explosion. She had made it. Her legs trembled, not from weakness, but from the overwhelming rush of it all. She laughed, the sound muffled by her scarf. Karim clapped her on the shoulder. "I told you," he said. "You don't have to finish a climb in one giant leap. You just have to keep moving forward, one step at a time." Ayesha closed her eyes and let the wind carry that truth into her heart. Epilogue. Months later, she would think of that climb whenever life pressed her to the edge of quitting, when job applications went unanswered, when the business she started moved slower than she dreamed, when her own confidence wavered. In those moments, she didn't tell herself to win, to conquer, or to do everything at once. She told herself the same thing Kareem told her on the mountain. One more step. Sometimes that step was sending one more email. Sometimes it was making one more call. Sometimes it was getting out of bed when she didn't want to. And each time she found herself further along than she expected, because small steps, taken steadily, had the power to cross mountains.